Hello, everybody, and welcome to Betweenplays Stock Market Strategies. And with us, we have Killian Charles of Brunswick Exploration. Hey, Killian, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Just for transparency reasons, for everybody watching this, I am super overweight in Brunswick Exploration. And I'm saying that with pride. I don't, I could just put out a non disclaimer at the beginning of this and all this kind of crap. But I said, you know what? I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think I'm like 98% of my TFSA portfolio all in on Brunswick. And the reasons for that is because Killian, since day one that that we spoke, forget about the show. Your vision and everything that you've wanted to bring to the world. Forget about just the Brunswick, because of family and children and helping in the environment and doing something for the future, being a part of the solution. And then your vision of Brunswick, how you stated at the beginning that we're going to do something a certain way, and what we don't find, we'll get rid of it. I mean, we've seen that. You've done that. All right. That's all documented, right? These are facts. And today you are finding stuff like at Nook, all right, in Greenland. First movers of explorers in lithium in Greenland. And what you're finding is really exceptional. Why don't we just go into that a little bit? What did you get at Nook, and how is this like playing out in the I was supposed to say Betweenplays portfolio, but in the Brunswick Explorations portfolio?
Yeah, no, look, I appreciate the vote of confidence, and I think you hit it right there on the head. The whole point around Brunswick has always about executing an exploration strategy that you just don't see out there, right? A lot of companies, they make a discovery and then they hunker down. We said, no, you know what? The lithium market's a little bit different. There are so many opportunities out there that we don't want to miss any of them. All right. We are at the forefront. We are drivers here. And we don't want to wake up, 4 or 5 years from now and say, oh, you know what? We knew about that area and we never did any work there. And it's so very important for us to continue that legacy. That same strategy, as you mentioned, from day one, it's interwoven in our DNA of how we explore at Brunswick. And it's what led to Nook. All right. We had gone and made discoveries across Canada and across Quebec, and we'll talk about those, I'm sure. But it drove us to continue to look further afield, and it drove us to Greenland. And as you point out, we recently put out a press release on our discovery in Nook, the first spodumene lithium discovery in the country of Greenland, 45 minutes from the capital. We had this is an area that it seems that the more we continue working, the more we keep finding, right? We had found the core discovery area, 8 pegmatites are all, contain spodumene. It was initially a corridor that was around 500 meters by a kilometer long, right? A decent start. And we had some ideas that that wasn't finished because, and this is what we press released, we had identified a number of other highly promising pegmatites. But in the interest of time, we couldn't really dig down on those pegmatites that we had a feeling they would contain spodumene, so we grabbed samples from them. And that's exactly what was proven to be the case. We've now released that, hey, wait a minute, some of these other targets that are kilometers away also contains spodumene. So now the zone that we have in Nook, it's not 1 by 500 meters. It's not 1 kilometer by 500 meters. It's like 4 kilometers by a kilometer wide. It's huge. It's a massive play. All of a sudden now we're looking at the same scale of corridor that we've seen at Mirage, that we see at Anatacau, that we see at all of these tier one assets around the world. We still have to do our drilling, we still have to do our work to confirm, but every time we put more effort into our property in Greenland, it gives us more back. And that's exactly what you want to see, right? That's
Yeah.
exactly the type of success you should be having if you believe you've made a discovery. And that's exactly what we think we now have in Nook. And then on top of that, we're also kicking off our program in Eastern Greenland, right? All of the work we've done over the last 24 months has always been focused on the West Coast, all right? Western Greenland, around Nook, to the south, to the north, but it's been focused there. And we had built a package that we continued to build earlier this year. And we're now finally going to step into it a little bit later this summer, probably by mid-July. Well, not probably, we will be there by mid-July. And
Yeah.
we have a massive program to do the first wave of prospecting in an area that has never been prospected before for lithium. Again, executing that strategy that we have been doing since day one in Brunswick that absolutely leads to discoveries, right?
Yes.
It's what we like to do. It's what we will continue to do. From the start, from day one, our vision has always been to say, hey, look, we're gonna look in a lot of places. We're gonna have a completely outrageous portfolio with so many targets, dozens, hundreds, thousands of targets. We're gonna churn through it. As you said, a lot of them are gonna find by the wayside. That's fine. That's exploration. People don't want to admit 99% of the time you will fail. But that's fine. We
Yeah.
always accounted for it. We always knew it was going to be a numbers game. We were always looking for that 1%. And
Yeah.
that's what we found when we did Mirage. That's what we found when we started working Anatacau, started drilling Anatacau and discovering that, hey, this is going to be a sizable system. That's what we're now doing in Greenland. We're now building out something of size, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping to do in Saudi Arabia later this year. That's what we're hoping to do in more countries. We want to continue executing this strategy that you're not going to find anywhere else. There's a
Well,
lot of good companies out there. You can invest in a lot of great companies.
absolutely.
You're not going to find one that does the same type of work that we do in Brunswick anywhere around the world.
Well, a lot of people, I mean, I think, should look at, I like trying to look at trends or history and seeing, how things sort of play out. I mean, if you're investing, you know, zoom out, right? That's what they say, zoom out. So, but I don't just zoom out of the chart, I zoom out of like the company itself and what they're doing. I mean, you've been extremely consistent, Killian, since day one. Nothing has changed. I mean, we've done an interview where you've put on your analyst hat. We were talking about, flavor of the day. We're talking about lifestyle companies, neither of which, Brunswick is at all. I mean, you've that the consistency is there. It's been unreal. And you are finding, I mean, you got, now you have Nook, you have the eastern part. And what I think some people were telling me is that, oh yeah, but it's seasonal, and I mean, like they won't be able to. But we had an interview where we were saying that you didn't go get it up north Greenland, where it's like, oh, we only got 3 months
Yeah.
out of the whole year. You came to the bottom of Greenland, and you're finding at the bottom of Greenland, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we picked areas that we knew were accessible year round. All right.
Exactly.
We
People are
picked,
missing on that. They don't.
yeah.
They're thinking that it's only like seasonal. Oh, there's only good, because I've spoke to one or two
Of
people.
course, it's easier to do any work in the winter, just like, or sorry, in the summer, just like in Canada, right? It's
Yeah.
of course easier to do work in Canada in the summer, but you can still do. We don't all go underground in the winter months and nothing
No.
happens. I
No.
mean, we still do work in the winter months, and it's be the same scenario in Nook. I
Yeah.
mean, the funny thing that people don't appreciate is often if you look at the winter temperature in and around our project, it's actually warmer than it is in Mirage, warmer than it is in Anatacau, warmer than it is in Montreal. I mean, like at some point, it's like, look, I mean, yes, there's less light. That's what we have to manage.
Oh,
But
who cares? Less
we're
light.
not in the middle of nowhere.
No.
It's like, well, it's minus 55 today. Everything froze. It's like, no, I mean, we're
No,
by
there's
the
there's projects
water.
like that in Quebec, in northern Quebec. There's projects that are
Oh yeah,
that
yeah, and
are
we're way warmer than them. way, way, way warmer. So
That's
no, we from the start, we always take a very clear look at all of our projects in every area we want to operate in.
yeah,
There's lots of super prospective areas in Greenland that we put an X on. Not because the geology wasn't good, not because we didn't believe the potential, but because we didn't believe the mineability of these areas. So the
yeah,
places that we ended up working in and around Nook were selected because we felt confident that we can do year-round operations there. Now, of course, we favor working in the summer, but there's no drilling can happen at any point that we really want to. And
yeah,
so it is not, it's remote in certain ways, but not in the ways people appreciate. I mean, it really is an excellent place to do exploration. It's an excellent place to make a discovery because we're on tidewater. I mean,
exactly.
Anatacau, Mirage, Patriot, those are all great projects, all great companies. But I mean, they're at the end of the road in Quebec. And here we are in Greenland on tidewater. That means that I don't have to do any work to put it on a boat. It's right there. And then once it's on a boat, it can go wherever it wants
Oh
to
yeah,
go.
all around the world.
Exactly. And so
That's how it
that's
all
something
started.
that's what people don't appreciate. And so look, that's fine. You know what? At the end of the day, they can believe me or not when it comes to Greenland. They
No,
can
we'll just
say,
let time.
Killian, yeah, and then that's perfectly
I'll
fine.
keep accumulating.
Yeah, yeah. But well, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you know what? Who cares about Greenland? Because even if I just look to Mirage, even if I don't even, I'm
Well,
not even going to talk
let's go to
about
Anatacau.
Anitau.
Let's go because
Well,
you
that's
had
it.
news come out of there.
None
Let's
of
let's do
those
Anatacau.
None of those are properly reflected in the stock. All of those are just absolute upside relative to our peer group. Because, yeah, let's talk about Anitau.
Yeah,
I mean, there's an asset that we had made a discovery a number of years back, and we said to ourselves, okay, we're going to drill it. We have to drill everything we find. We have to put some holes into it. Because, again, we have our criteria. Has to be spodumene, has to have good metallurgy, has to be close to infrastructure, and it has to have a potential for 50 million tons.
that's right.
And let me tell you, that's what we're seeing at Anatacau. Every drill hole we've been putting into it has been absolutely incredible. We are finding a very large system, a very well mineralized system that keeps rewarding us. The drilling we've released up until now is barely scratching the surface of what can happen here. Everything that we've hit is open in all directions.
Crazy.
There is so much more that we can deliver there. And so, in my mind, I actually think that Anatacao has a chance, a real chance of being at a very minimum as big as Mirage. So now you're
Please.
talking about again, exactly our strategy from day one, right?
Yep.
Find like a Mirage size equivalent asset,
Yep.
keep working it, and we're absolutely going to keep working it, and then repeat, do it again. Well, let me tell you, that's what we've just done with Anitau. We have now done it again.
That's
All right.
crazy.
We're going to keep drilling it and we're going to prove that up to the market. But don't be surprised when we have a conversation at some time next year and you're like, well, Killian, you've done it again. It's like, yeah, that's what I said I would do. I mean, I've been banging the table for quite a long time saying that
Yeah,
I absolutely find another major asset. And that's, what we think we now have at Anatacao. We're hoping to go back there drilling this fall. The main reason we're trying to figure out is at the same time we also have our main asset
that's
of
right.
Mirage,
Yeah,
right? So now we're
beautiful.
getting it. Yeah, now we're getting into almost like this Hollywood problem of all of these fantastic assets, and we're just trying to maximize our investment because that's the interesting thing with Brunswick, right? Unlike a lot of other companies out there, we have flexibility. A lot of companies have no choice but to keep advancing their project, good times, bad times, and whatever the next stage is, that's what if they have to spend $1 million on a PA, they have no choice but to spend $1 million on that economic study. And here we're like, well, wait a minute. I think I can get actually more value by putting another round of drilling at Anatacau and putting out a resource on it than forcing myself to do an economic study at Mirage.
Yeah,
And so we have this huge flexibility that literally no other company out there does. And that's what makes me so excited about what we can deliver at Brunswick. And, we've done it twice.
yeah.
And trust me, we'll do it a third time. We'll do it a fourth time. I see no reason why we won't keep continuing this. There's just nothing else out there. And it's always going to be underpinned by these real assets. Again, you
Absolutely.
can believe me or not on whether I'm going to do it a third time. It almost doesn't even matter because you already have it once in Mirage and you potentially have it a second time in Anatacau.
Yeah, I mean,
Who
we're
knows, maybe you have it a third time in Greenland.
yeah, because we're like just at the beginning with Mirage. I
Oh,
mean, we're
absolutely.
literally at the very beginning stages. I remember when you were doing your first drill results. What the hell was that? That was in the winter of 2020. It was supposed to be released, but there was a back
23,
23
23.
in the wintertime
No,
for
no. Well, I mean,
Christmas,
if fall
January
23. No, 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 no. It was more like
2024.
it was more like, Q3, Q4 2023.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's like in terms of like mining, this is baby steps. We're at the very beginning, we're at the very
Oh,
beginning stages, and you're already hitting so much in so many different places, and the consistency is there. And it's something I wanted to bring to the conversation. Lithium, just lithium itself. All right, I have some research. We're doing a paper, and it's on the amount of lithium that's going to be needed by 2030, 2032. It's massive. It's just massive. And right now, MG just commercialized a semi solid state lithium battery. 95% of it is lithium, 5% is a silicone anode, no thermal runway, over 1,000 kilometers. And it even works better in the winter. But you know what? Even my car in the winter, I don't have a problem with my car in the winter. So the ranges on my car, I mean, I drove in the winter. I went from my house to Lake George, and it was like no issues. I didn't have to charge it between. It was just I had the range. So this whole thing about range and cold or whatever, it makes no sense. I wake up in the morning. I have 400 something kilometers if I want every single morning. I don't even remember what a gas station is. Okay.
yeah.
So this whole thing about, lithium and all this kind of stuff, people are missing the mark. 2024, I believe it was. I think that's when the Model Y hit the number one car, the selling car.
Yeah.
2025, it missed it by very little. And I think it lost a Hyundai or something like that, but they had multiple models of stuff. But it missed it by 500 cars. And they're like, oh, it's Tesla's Model Y is not the number one car. Oh, electric vehicles are dying. It's like, hold on, one second here. It's all about delivery. Hyundai or whoever that one that beat them out has been around for like 80 years. They're a brand new car company, and it was different electric models that are winning. And because of these gas prices, I was hearing that last year in the United States, I think it was the year that they sold the most electric cars in a single year in the United States. So
It's an expanding market, and that's what
yeah,
people don't appreciate is that if you and they keep saying it, and there's no two ways around it. Electric cars are the cheapest cars you can possibly buy. There might be an
yeah,
upfront cost, but over the
yeah,
life of that car, you will absolutely save money. And you know what? I don't begrudge people. Society, people, we're all a little bit lazy. I'm a little bit lazy. I'm sure you're a
yeah,
little,
yeah.
and
Same
we're
here.
all,
Everybody.
we don't want to go and formally do all these changes. But
Yeah.
when you look at the way the world is changing, when you look at, all these geopolitical issues that causes the oil price to go like a freaking yo-yo,
Oh, it's crazy.
a lot of people say, well, wait a minute. And this is people, these are communities, these are governments as well, that all say, you know what? Do I really want 20% of my global energy source to be, reliant on a bunch of, crazy conflicts that have no real value?
Yeah.
Eh, Maybe not.
No,
And so
exactly.
they look to decouple themselves from that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you are seeing with lithium.
Yeah.
Lithium offers that decoupling event. And then when you start to talk to all the tech guys that talk about robotics,
Exactly.
self-driving cars,
Copper and
AI,
lithium. Copper and
all of
lithium.
those,
It's
exactly.
the two
You
number
can't
one commodities.
you can't
It's the
avoid
it's
it.
no, you can't. It's you can do any kind of research on any AI. It doesn't matter what it is. Compounded annual growth rate. It's copper and lithium. And even our tech guys, I have this guy in Europe, Andrea Turno, that comes on. Big tech guy. He's on like all these Red Hat Linux. Anyways, whatever. Anyways, the guy's a genius. And we have some people coming on, Roy Chua, that's in all in, and it's copper and lithium. It's copper and lithium.
You can't avoid it.
That's what you want to do. You want to go for what's in the industry's compound annual growth rate, what's increasing. So, everything that you're doing, for lithium in this space, and where it's just absolutely going, and everything that you're hitting, especially being, a fairly new, I would say fairly not new, but I mean, come on, in the grand scheme of things, it's only a couple of years that the drilling started.
Look, at the absolutely, but at the end of the day, I'll make it even simpler than that.
All right.
If you've been looking at Brunswick, all right, for the last couple of times, or
Yeah.
if you were a previous investor of Brunswick and think about dipping your toe back into it, I'll be honest, there's never been a better time to be in the stock.
Oh
There's no
yeah.
two ways around it.
Oh, no, it's
I
true.
mean, a lot at the start, there was a lot of speculation, there was a lot of that, and we
Yeah.
said, we're gonna hear this is our strategy, this is what
Yeah.
we're gonna deliver.
That's right.
And we have absolutely delivered on that strategy.
100%.
We have, promise made, promise kept has been very, very important for us. And so when you look at Brunswick, when you look at at thinking of going into the stock, you are buying front row tickets to one of the most exciting stories in the lithium space. Of course, I'm biased, but you can't avoid that. And that has all of this growth in front of it for the foreseeable future. Brunswick is well positioned to continue generating value to its investors and future investors. People that move in right now, people that buy stock right now are exposed to so much growth potential across the stock, across the space, as we just mentioned, the lithium space, which is itself growing so rapidly.
Yeah.
And so we are a company that is positioned for now and for the future. We have the cash, we have the strategy, we've demonstrated that the strategy work,
Yep.
and we will be here every single day of the week executing that strategy. As I mentioned, promise made, promise kept. We are not changing. We are keeping our laser focus on expanding our portfolio, growing our asset, generating value, making discoveries at Mirage, at Anatacau, in Greenland, now in Saudi, and in these other countries. You will just absolutely not find a company that does the same scale and type of work that Brunswick does.
I completely agree. You know what, Killian? And on that, what a great way to end the show. That's all I got to say. I mean, look, uh,
Look,
I
we've got
truly believe.
milestones coming out. There's no two ways around it. We're going to start drilling at Mirage within the next, I'd say, few weeks here. Early July, we're starting to drill at Mirage. That means when you look to the fall, when you look to the late Q3, or I should say Q3 in general, when you look to Q4, results, drill results, drill results, drill results, exploration results. I mean, there is a huge future of news flow and of milestones that is coming up for Brunswick investors and New Brunswick investors.
Yeah, I honestly believe, this is my opinion, of course. I think the ones that left think that one day when stock pops, my opinion, I believe that one day the stock will it will definitely pop. I mean, when you look at the compound, everything we spoke about, I think that some people are going to be like, they're going to regret not, either coming back or taking a look at, doing the research last 2 years and maybe just following, trends that don't get them anywhere or get them stuck in a stock. Because, in my opinion, Brunswick is one of the biggest players out there. Anyways, Killian, thank you so much for being on Betweenplays Stock Market Strategies. And when you're coming out with the new news, I'd love to have you back on.
Oh, absolutely. A pleasure as always.
All right. See ya.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Between Plays, it's the journey and what you do between where you are and where you want to be. Research, prepare, plan, and execute your strategy. Do your DD and stay strong in visualizing and achieving your goals. Our strategy is unique since 2020. An original concept imitated, never duplicated. Real conversations with media influencers, educational and expert speakers, analysts and consultants. Between Plays, bridging the gap between companies and investors.